In speaking with Jiri about the background of the characters, one that I found to be particularly interesting was the head and how this plaster bust ended up in the attic. And Jiri told me that during the Soviet regime, it was very common for office buildings to have a plaster bust such as the head. And Jiri's backstory was that the head actually ended up in this attic, just kind of almost like refuse, and that his trying to take over this attic and to rule the attic is his swan song.
Hurrah! Now for the food!
My first goal in the film, my priority, was for the adaptation to be as close to the original Czech film as possible. And that posed some certain challenges when I was writing the dialogue, because the dialogue that I was putting into the Czech mouse had to also match sync. And for the most part, it wasn't that difficult in terms of the animated characters. It was the live action characters that were very, very difficult, especially the head, because of he has so many just really big close-ups on his character.
Hello? Oh, please help me, I'm lost.
Don't worry, I will help you.
And the actor that we got to play that role was Douglas Urbanski, and he was great. He was a really just fine actor, and he was fantastic. He was originally supposed to come in one time to shoot. That was typically what we did for all of the actors. That's all, you know, we could get their stuff done in a day. But Douglas Urbanski, we actually were changing his dialogue clear up until the very end. Right when we were doing the mix, I had to call him in for another take at the sync. Okay, we're going to start off with this line here. And
124, take 6.
You'll not silence me, pretty lady, okay? I'm particularly interested in this one. Dolly, don't kill my sneaky eye.
it's a spy eye.
It's a spy eye?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's slithering around like a snake.
Okay. Dolly, don't kill my sneaky eye.
Good sync.
We can do better, I think, even.
Okay, I think we're running a little bit long.
Long?
You just close it.
Okay, go ahead. Let's keep doing it until we get it right.
146, take 2.
No, let's not be bad. Dolly, don't kill my sneaky eye. It is very tricky because of the Czech is so hard. What sounds do they actually make when they're talking?
Well,
It's
I mean,
hard.
you can see their mouths are going
All right.
90 miles an hour, and they're hitting it very hard, and the English language is a little smoother.
Napuste Černé moře.
Let's go with that starting cue. And if I need you to move it further, just for the way my brain is not...
Sure thing.
So let's try... Now, Vivian, we're going to go with let loose the... Let's go with...
Let's try the old line.
What is the old line again?
Let loose the Black Sea.
The Black Ocean.
Let loose the Black
Oh, was
Sea.
it C?
Right, yeah, yeah.
Or the head, yeah, just the head, not the...
Let loose the Black Sea.
We can change the endpoint, the record endpoint for you.
Let loose...
Okay, here.
Powerful.
Let loose the Black Sea.
I love the off-camera stuff best of all. We're not syncing.
Yeah, so Douglas Urbanski, he was a real trooper, and we ended up getting what we needed, and I think that the head is a very effective character. In adapting the film, I felt like it was really important to keep the European feel of the film. It has European analogies, political analogies that I think are very important, and just the whole look. It's a Jiri Barta film. I didn't want it to look like an American production. I wanted it to remain organic with the original film. And so I didn't want to give the actors American dialects. On the other hand, I didn't want to go with just the Czech dialects because that didn't quite seem right either. So I suggested to Jiri that I would like to give the characters different nationalities, and he liked the idea, which I was excited about. I felt like Madame Curie would be just wonderful Jewish, that she's this Jewish heroine that saves this group of friends against the dictatorship. I just thought there was a beautiful sort of poetry in that. And I had some reservation because the character is originally based on Madame Sklodowska-Curie, the Nobel Prize-winning scientist. And I spoke to Jiri, and he said, you know what though, it's a mouse, it's a mechanical mouse. It's already based on something. So I made her Polish Yiddish, and Joan Cusack did a great job with her, and I just love the character. She's so inventive and so imaginative, and she just pulls everything junk and creates these amazing, you know, airplanes and boats, and she's just a lovely character and very resourceful.
Come down and help me!
One of the things that attracted me to the film is that it has very strong female characters. Aside from the fact that Madame Curie is the heroine of the film, I think that Buttercup is a very strong character. She's a turn-of-the-century doll. She takes care of her ragtag family of friends. When the head kidnaps her and takes her into his world, and he tries to make her what he thinks she should be, she fights back. And she fights back really, really, really hard. And she wants her life back. The political analogy that I found to be a little chilling is that the head, when he doesn't get this out of her, he clones her, and he makes this idea of what she should be, this subservient citizen that he will never get out of Buttercup, or Sir Handsome, or Teddy, or Laurent, or Madame Curie, or Rosie. You know, they all have their spirit, and the evil head and his minions cannot break that. In adapting the script, I watched the Czech version quite a bit, again and again and again and again. And I already love the performances of the Czech actors. And I was a little bit concerned because I thought once I start bringing in the American actors or casting the American actors, I would have a difficult time letting go of the Czech performances. But Sandy Holt was a casting director, and she brought some wonderful actors to the project. And as soon as they came in and they started performing their roles, it's like the original voices just fell away, the original Czech voices, because the Americans took the parts and made them their own and really gave them life and brought their own energy to it. Forrest Whitaker was wonderful to work with, as I anticipated he would be. His voice is just perfect for Teddy. He brings a very fatherly quality to the voice and to the character, and at the same time he has his vulnerabilities. He added a very sweet element to Teddy that I just love.
Take care of yourself, Buttercup.
Have a good trip, Teddy.
Carrie Elwes brings a wonderful, bigger-than-life sensibility to Sir Handsome.
Tell me a little bit about your character in the film and what it was like to do this movie.
I play a crazy Spaniard. Why they hired me to play a Spaniard, I have no idea, but I was very happy to get the call because I spent a lot of my childhood in Spain. So it was a little bit of sense memory for me. And I just loved the movie. I saw the movie when they showed it to me. I was so impressed with Jiri's work, and it's some of the best stop-motion work I've ever seen. I love Czech movies anyway, especially Czech animation. So I was thrilled to be a part of it.
Marcelo Toubert plays Laurent, and the character of Laurent, he doesn't have a lot of dialogue, but he has vocalizations where he's grunting and groaning and screaming and falling, and Marcelo Toubert brought a whole bunch of energy to the studio, and I think he was pretty tired at the end of the day, but he nailed it. Rico Simonini plays the tomcat, and he does a great job of just going wild with it.
There's a furball clause in my contract. I'm allowed to cough 2 up during every rehearsal. After that, the deal was done. I mean, I had to, you know, it was a no-brainer.
And Rico, he you know, came in and he was just kind of wild and fun in the ADR, and everybody loved him. Emily Hahn, she was an absolute sweetie to work with. She would get so excited after she would do a take. She would just go, yes! So it was adorable.
It was a lot of fun. I had so much fun working with everyone, the casting director, the director, my dialect coach. It was an awesome character.
Look, Grandma, what I found here.
What? Let me see. She is old enough to remember the Emperor.
The grandmother's played by Sandy Holt, and that was the one character where I really wanted to try to get as close to the Czech grandmother as possible, because she just had a certain strictness to her, a little bit scary at times, but a good grandmother. Joy Ellison plays Rosie, and Roy Von Tama plays two parts, the monkey and the schoolboy. The sync is very, for the actor, it can be very challenging, especially if an actor is not used to doing sync. Typically on a film, you have to do a certain amount of additional dialogue replacement, and you have to come in and you may have to sync up a couple of lines. Well, the recording engineer, they take the voice and they can shift it a little bit one way or the other, but they only have a certain amount of latitude. So the main part is in the performance, and then after that you can manipulate it a little bit. And you can do that all the way down the line, clear down to the mix. When you're recording the actors, you do them all in the same setting. You do them all, hopefully in the same studio if you can, or a studio that's the same size. You record them the same distance from the mic, and you use the same mic. So the sound is all very level. So when you do the final mix, you take those characters and you put them in their environments. Like my character, Buttercup, at one point she's in a bottle. Well, we didn't record that in a bottle. The mixer is the one who takes that sound and adds that effect to it. And it can really bring it to life, and it can really give a feel that the character is in the environment and make it very believable. We did the mix at Tadeo Studios. Craig Mann was the mixer, and he did a really good job. He worked at this really long console by himself for the most part, and it was a lot of fun watching him just roll up and down this console with just a gajillion buttons, and he knows what they all do, and he just you know, performs magic on the sound.
The biggest challenge with Toys in the Attic was the fact that it's a Czech film, and we are putting English into the mouths of Czech characters. Vivian has spent the better part of a year going through and writing particular words and dialogue to fit into the character's mouth, to make it look believable for the story, and to still appear as a cohesive story. So that's been quite a painstaking process. Seeing the final product here, where it's very close, is quite an accomplishment, I would say, in fudging the sync between Czech and English.
"'Tis our duty."
That's Schoolboy.
Yeah, Schoolboy is a little bit of a problem.
"'Tis our..."
He's got two different ways, and the line can either go... The problem that I have with it is his mouth is just not moving on the way that it is. It's the best placement for the line, but his mouth isn't moving, so...
Let's see, this is what we have.
We have to convince her to return. "'Tis our duty."
Hey, schoolboy!
Delivery-wise, it's perfect.
"'Tis our duty." "'Tis our duty." "'Tis our duty."
It's a little bit more forgiving because
It's kind of coming up slowly.
the other option is to wait until he's all the way up in the
That's pretty late, though.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that last one.
We have to convince her to return. It's us. Tis our duty.
That's unquestionably better.
Cool.
All the painstaking effort and work that got done to get it up to turning it over to us made it a really fun and easy time to work with Vivian, and we had a really good time.
With the addition of the American credits, we had to redo the credit sequences in the beginning and the end. And the original Czech titles, they went over a dark attic. They had the establishing of the house at dawn, and then a pan through a dark attic, which established the attic and the mood, and then that goes into the chest and starts the film. I didn't want to lose that. I wanted to keep that, so we just took the titles off of that, and we needed to add something before. I didn't want to just add anything. I didn't want to tack on just some big bombastic credits to this very beautiful, lovely indie European film. I wanted to add something that actually gave to the story rather than distracted. I think in the best credits, they add to the story or they set the mood. It was a difficult challenge to come up with something that would segue into that house at dawn. So after a lot of thought, I came up with a toy catalog that would feature all of the main characters and establish them and give a little bit of their backstory. I didn't give it a specific date. It's a fantasy catalog in that all of these characters that end up in the attic are in this catalog at once. In working with Jiri, he spoke to me a lot about their backstory, and I proposed to him that I would like to actually add this at the beginning and expand on it. When I told him I needed photographs, because in the catalog I wanted actual photographs, he put together a team in Prague, and he resurrected the puppets and cleaned them up and photographed them and sent me these just amazing, wonderful photos. And he did it a couple of times. I'd say, okay, can you move their arm a little bit this way or that way? And he did it, and it was fun. The idea was that this catalog would provide the transition into the establishing shot of the house. And the way to do that was Teddy. Teddy was always sleeping. He's sleeping at the beginning of the film. So the graphic artist and I sat down and started working on how to get the camera to move over this catalog. I wanted it to be in one solid pan to give it sort of a flow. And I wanted to end on Teddy, because I thought that could provide the transition with Teddy in the bed. And then you see the house in the background of the ad, which you don't notice it at first. But then John McCallum moved the camera through into establishing the house. He used 2D animation to do it. In the ads of the catalog, the toys are put forth as something that you want, not abandoned in an attic the way they end up. They're new, they're shiny new, or they're a collector's item. Sir Handsome is the only one that's not polished up. It was fun to give him more of a background, because Jiri had told me, okay, this is actually the reason he speaks in rhyme is because he used to play in old marionette theaters, and he would play Don Quixote. So it was fun to actually put him on a stage and give the production a title and a place, this fantasy place. So you won't see Laurent in the catalog because he wasn't formed yet. He's actually just a box of clay that is formed in the attic. So that's why we put him as the amusant modeling clay. He's still represented. He's just not, he's not formed yet.
Oh, it's already morning. I've got lots to do. I'll take my cap. Yes, this. Okay, time to do it.
So this is just a way of trying to describe or explain their backgrounds. Teddy, he doesn't have his bandages, and he's brand spanking new. And so when we focus in on him in his bed, he's in a brand new bed. He's in a proper bed. Whereas once we go through the window and we transition into the house and you see Teddy many years later, after he's been abandoned and he has the scuffs of his life, you see him in this old mitt for a bed as opposed to a proper bed. So in that, we are establishing the transition of time from this catalog into the current story. It was a true honor to work on the film. It was an honor to work with Jiri Barta, and it was an honor to have the adaptation placed into my care. I had a wonderful team, and it was a great film to work on.